Chapter 5. A month later, we took a trip to the beach. The late summer sun beat down upon us as the wind whipped our hair about our faces. We all spent some time swimming in the water. Living close to the beach, I had learned early on how to swim well. Unlike most of the other parents present, content in lying on the beach and soaking up the sun, Mother and Father played with me in the water. That especially made me feel loved. After a while, I went back up to our spot where the sandy beach met the dirt beyond. I watched as Mother and Father continued to swim together, occasionally stopping to talk or splash one another. I looked out to Watcher's Island, a small area of land that rose up out of the water a few hundred meters from the beach. Before the rising sea claimed the surrounding area, it had been a park, elevated above that area of the city. As I looked up the beach to my left, I saw what remained of the dome of the old cathedral, rising much higher out of the water and miraculously still standing. As I turned my attention to the beach in front of me, I saw a stick that the tide had brought in from the sea, just out of reach on the sand. I stretched to pick it up and found it wrinkly and slightly waterlogged, about the thickness of my index finger at the tip, and as long as my forearm, from wrist to elbow. I drove it down into the hard-packed dirt. Then I raked the stick across the dirt to form a line. That was quickly followed by another line, and another, and more, until I had produced what looked like a house. I added some figures that were supposed to be Mother, Father, and myself beside it. A person-shaped shadow suddenly appeared, shading me from the sun. I feared it was Mother or Father, but one quick look past her showed they were still out in the water. I looked up to see a woman standing in front of me, examining my drawing in the dirt. It was a little uncomfortable being so close to her as she was dressed like the other beachgoers, if slightly less covered. She didn't seem embarrassed, though, so I tried not to be either. When she noticed me noticing her, she grinned and exclaimed,
"Looks like we've got a Picasso here, yeah?"
Confused, I asked.
A Picasso?
"Yeah, kid. Picasso was a painter years and years ago. Keep drawing and you'll get there."
She ruffled my hair and turned to leave. I called out after her.
Thanks, ma'am.
"Sure thing, kid."
She waved without turning as she walked away. As I turned back to my drawing, I felt the tingling of energy I had begun to associate with music. Does this happen with art as well? I wondered to myself. I hadn't tried drawing since that paper had been taken away years ago. With that had gone the colors I had used to color it. I hadn't devoted much thought to it since then. My thoughts were interrupted as I noticed Mother and Father wading through the water towards my sitting place on the ground. Without thinking, I used the stick to level out the dirt, erasing my drawing with one careful swipe. I continued using that motion in the dirt to seem less conspicuous. Father greeted me with a big smile. "Hey, Corban. Are you done swimming for today? It looks like you're dry already." He was standing with his arm around Mother. They seemed to be in a really good mood. I stretched my arms up and back.
Yes, Father. I'm quite tired already.
Okay then. We'll get ready to go, but...
Mother paused, then giggled before quickly stifling it with her hand.
I think you need to rinse off in the water before we go. It looks like while we've been swimming, you've been rolling around in the dirt.
I stood up quickly, still holding the stick, and replied sheepishly,
Yeah. I'll go do that now.
I ran down to the water and submerged my whole body. I wanted to make sure all the dirt was off of me, so I had to release the stick to the sea in order to scrub my body with my fingers. I bid a silent farewell to it. After I was certain my body was all clear of the dirt, I noticed the stick was floating on the surface of the water, still within reach. I quickly prevented its escape. As I waded back to shore, I hoped Mother and Father wouldn't notice the oddity of me keeping a stick. When I returned, however, I noticed the way they were looking into one another's eyes, as if nothing else existed in all the world, and I was fairly confident they had enough to keep them occupied.